Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay. This is Coloring Bliss. We have a special guest back there and we have a special announcement. We're starting a big, massive giveaway today. I'm so excited to tell you all about it. So let's get started. Look who's here! I've got Steve, my business partner here.
Hi everyone.
And I brought him here on purpose because as we were planning this giveaway, he was a big pusher of the item we're going to give away. And if you've seen the title of the video, it kind of gives away what we're giving away. But here it is. A full set, all 100 of the Caran Luminance Pencils. We're going to give this away. Now, we're probably going to be adding some things to this giveaway, so in the end of it, it'll probably be worth over $300.
Wow.
I'm so excited that one of you gets to experience these beautiful pencils.
Well, we had to get the full set for somebody because we all know that the Luminance 6901 is like the ultimate full set syndrome satisfied moment.
Yep, that's for sure. I'm so excited. The giveaway is going to end on April 27th, 2022, and the winner will be announced via email on April 28th. Steve does all of that.
Yes, so make sure you use a good email address because that is how I announce it to you.
Yeah, that's how he's going to contact you and tell you that you're a winner. So good luck, everyone. We're going to talk all about the Caran Luminance pencils today in this video and get you all excited about these pencils. And we have some free resources for you and some free coloring pages. So let's talk about that. Okay, I thought we were going to have a problem there for a minute, but so far the lion and the lamb are laying together very peacefully. Okay, so I have some resources for you. If you are collecting the Caran Luminance pencils, then you need some help. You need to know which pencils you have, don't have, all that good stuff. And you need to know how they look on paper. So Steve has been working really hard on some resources. And we're going to talk more about this particular resource here in a minute. But all you need to know right now is that it's free. There is a 3-page download with large swatch squares with the name and the number of every one of the 100 pencils on this download. So that's one free resource for you. And then he also created a second resource right here. This is all the swatches, all 100 pencils, all on one page, and it just has the numbers for you. We're going to talk about the order that they're in, all that good stuff. But I also have some new art because we're celebrating spring and Easter around here, so I have some art. One of them is free for you. That's this one right here. This has been part of our library for a long time, and we're making it available as a free download for a limited time. So if you want to come and get this one's really fun to color because it has all these different eggs and you can try different color schemes. It's a really fun one. So come and get this one. But we also have a premium library at Coloring Bliss where if you become a paid member, you get access to it, and it's got hundreds of coloring pages and tons of resources all available to you. And as of today, 2 new Easter spring type coloring pages. This one was drawn by our Bliss artist Alia, and it's just so precious the way they're just nuzzling each other right here. It's so sweet. And then the second one that is in our premium library now is this one, and it was drawn by Anastasia. And I love the little ears of the hiding bunny back here. Really precious. So 2 really fun new pieces of art for you to come and enjoy if you are a paid member. And remember, being a paid member doesn't just get you art, it supports our channel here so that we can keep doing giant giveaways like this. We purchase all these products with our own money so that you can be assured that we aren't being swayed by a company that's gifting us any products. So yeah, come and support us at coloringbliss.com. To start out our fun conversation about these Luminance pencils, I thought we should start back talking about Caran the company. They have several lines of color pencils, and it's a little bit confusing which lines they are and how much they cost and what they're for and who they're for. So I made a little chart here. Just by hand to kind of help us understand Caran d'Ache in general. And I've got most of these pencils here in my pencil stash so I can show them to you. We'll start out at the top here. They have two lines of color pencils that are considered children friendly or student friendly. There's the fan colors, which I only have one set of those. They look like this. This is what the packaging looks like. And this was one of the contestants in our battle of the metallic color pencils. So if you want to see how these metallic fan color pencils perform, then come on over and check out that video. Now, the cool thing about fan color line is that they are water soluble. They have a smaller core, 2.8 millimeter. They do have this special line of metallics, but in general, they have 40 colors. At least that's what I could find as I was researching this particular line. And here are the prices. So in general, the pencils are about $1.08 per pencil when you buy them in the full set, which costs $43, and they don't have open stock. Now, this is a strange line. I only saw it in a couple places. It's called Swiss Color. I don't own any of these. They're also water soluble. They also have a 2.8 millimeter core. And they have 40 colors, good light fastness. I kind of wonder if they're the same line, just different packaging, but I have no idea. These are a little bit more expensive, $46 for the full set of 40, and that brings them in at $1.15 per pencil. So that's their student line. Now we have their sort of intermediate. Now, I didn't quite know what to call this line here, this set, because these are considered professional pencils. They are beautiful pencils. We have the Pablo line and we have the Super Color Soft. This is our first of only two lines that they have that are not water soluble, which I thought was very interesting. The Pablo pencils, they have 120 different colors. They have a bigger core than these ones here, 3.8 millimeter. Let me show them to you. This is the Pablo line here, and they are considered excellent light fastness. So like I said, people use these for professional pieces of art. They are a really fun pencil, and I like them. They're very hard. The core is very hard and work really pretty colors. And we have a lot of resources here at Coloring Bliss for you if you decide to collect the Pablo line. So if you do decide to collect the Pablos, they have their 120 set is $198 as of the date of this filming. They do have open stock pencils, so you can replace one at a time at $288. And if you do buy the full set, it comes in at only $1.65 per pencil for a really nice high-end line of pencils. Now, Super Color Soft, these two are supposed to sort of work together, and they're both in this sort of intermediate area. Let me grab those. This is the Super Color Soft line. So like I said, they're supposed to work alongside with the Pablo. They came in 9th place of our during our battle of watercolor pencils. So they weren't my favorite, but they did land in the top 10. So that's pretty cool. They have a nice tin. They are available open stock, so you can replace one pencil at a time. Open stock, they're $2.88. The full set of 120 is $205, putting it at $1.71 per pencil. And again, excellent is the word they use for their light fast rating on these pencils right here.
So when you say they work with the Pablos, you mean it's the same colors, like the 120s?
I think they do have the same color family, but I am not 100% sure. I'm still doing research on that because I'm a little confused about the Caran d'Ache color system. So if you know what matches what, I thought everything matched everything, but I don't think that's true. I'm going to do more research and we'll get back to you on a future video on that particular topic. Now we come into, I think, the pencils that Caran d'Ache are most known for, and that's the Luminance and the Museum Aquarelle. The Luminance are also considered a dry pencil, so you can't activate them with water. So they only have these two right here, Pablo and Luminance, that are not water soluble. Now these also have a 3.8 millimeter core, same as the intermediate. Only 100 colors available. It used to be just 76, right? I think so. And in, I think it was 2020, they released 24 more colors to compete with the Derwent Light Fast line. And we know that because they came out at pretty much the same time. So they are considered their highest light fastness. And for a long time, no one could beat the Luminance pencil pencils with light fastness. Now, if you are interested in knowing what light fastness is and if it even matters to you, we have a really good video that addresses that. So I'm going to put a link to that video here in this comments here on this video, because that's a really important thing to know. One of the things you're paying for right here with the Luminance is that high light fastness rating. So just so you know, light fastness means that the pencil you're going to use, the colors will last for a long time. And we're talking about, typically they test it under like museum conditions, so really good lighting, the humidity is controlled, all those types of things. Now in those types of conditions, thank you for that word, these types of pencils, the high light fastness pencils here, will last up to 100 years. Their colors aren't going to fade or change. So this is a big deal if you're a professional artist. If you are more of a student grade or a hobbyist, or if you're a professional artist that takes digital photos and doesn't sell the original piece of art, light fastness is not quite as important. So check out that other video and you'll get more educated, and you'll know if you need to pay the big bucks for these right here. So these, speaking of big bucks, for a full set right now, it's $288. They are available open stock. That's per pencil for $4.50. And that, if you buy the full set, then it's only $2.88 per pencil, which makes them less expensive than the Derwent Light Fast pencils that I've also shown here on this channel, which I thought was interesting. Now, the Museum Aquarelle is their water-soluble version of the Luminance pencils. Again, I'm not sure if the colors of the Museum Aquarelle, work in a color system with the Luminance, the Pablo. I don't know quite how this system works. I'm still trying to figure that out. These are also considered exceptional color fastness, and instead of using the ASTM D6901 standard, over here they've used the blue wool scale. There's lots you can research on these two, but again, they're just testing for light fastness, okay? So these guys right here have exceptional color light fastness. They have 76 colors in the line, and they usually come in beautiful packaging just like the Luminance. 3.8 millimeter core, and if you buy the full 76 set, it's $246. That's $3.27 per pencil, and they are available open stock for $4.63 per pencil. Now, these came in on number 10 on our battle of the water-soluble pencils. So they actually they kind of fell short of their less expensive brothers, the Caran Supercolor Soft. So, but again, go check out that video if you're interested in water-soluble pencils, because it's very intense, that video, and I talk about why things get scored what they do, and you can find out what the winner was, the number one pencils. So that's the lineup of Caran pencils, and now that I have it wrapped my head around it, I can kind of understand it better, and I will go out and do more research on this color system and how it works between the different lines. But we're talking today about the Luminance, so let me tell you what I've learned about that line of pencils. So I printed this straight off of Caran website. This is their sales pitch about the Luminance pencils. So you can see here they talk about the wood, the round body, the matte casing, the color numbers and indicators. We talked a lot about this over on our first video when I unboxed this in my art haul. One of the things I love about the pencil, and I'll just mention it again, is how they have the writing of the name and the number perpendicular rather than running horizontal along the pencil. I think it makes it really friendly for whether you're a lefty or a righty, and as you sharpen it up, it stays there even until your pencil is a tiny little nubbin. So it's really a smart way to label pencils. I like it a lot. Now, again, the cores are 3.8 millimeter, and they feel very different. If you were wondering if it's any different from any of the other brands of pencils, these are quite different. Prismacolor, I always say, feel creamy. Polychromos, I always say, feel sort of buttery. These feel strangely dry. but yet creamy at the same time. And they tend to be crumbly, which drove Steve crazy. I don't know if they are more crumbly than, say, the Prismacolor. They're definitely more crummy than the Polychromos. So if crumbs are an issue for you, the Polychromos are a fantastic pencil. Almost no crumbs there. Some of these pencils are really crummy and some not so much. So I'm sure it just has to do with how they had to formulate each pencil to get the light fastness and the payoff that they wanted. But just so you know, they do feel different and they're worth a try if you collect color pencils or really into color pencils. These are worth a try so that you can see how they feel. Okay, and they say here it's a permanent creamy lead. I would call it creamy dry lead is what I would call it.
Smooth, silky.
Smooth. Yeah, no, not silky because sometimes it feels rough.
Yeah.
The dryness feels very rough. It's a very different formula. Okay, maximum covering power. And that is so true. The Luminance white pencil has long been one of the best opaque covering white pencils. In fact, we have a battle of the white color pencils and you can go check it out and see what place the white landed. But it's one that most artists tell you need to own at least one white Luminance pencil. And I love that this set came with 2 whites. It's fantastic. I love that. So then it goes into techniques for use. We're not going to go into that today. I'm going to do another video here soon where I actually color with these and talk about blending and my tips and tricks for you on these pencils. Let's see. Oh, then it goes into talking about the colorless blender. Now, in this kit, it came with these 2 right here. And as I was researching, I found out that what's inside this core is this right here. So this is one full stick. I think they call it their brightening stick. And then they call this one wax-based colorless is what they're calling. But it's the same guts inside.
Really? I wonder why they did it like that.
I don't know, but I know they talked about if you use this one, you can color larger areas faster.
Oh, that makes sense.
And this one is more for details. You use it for burnishing and blending, bringing different colors together. And they claim that it can reinforce your UV resistance and lay down a layer of this first to create a waterproof layer. Both claims, I can't say whether they work. I've never tried it as a waterproof resist before, which I think would be really fun to try. So I'm really glad that these are included in the big set because I love a good colorless blender. Okay, I think that was all that they had on their website. This is the chart right here that comes with the set, and I wanted to show you right here. They show the light fastness difference. So on every pencil, there's a light fastness number. The lower the number, the better.
Oh, okay.
So 1 is their best light fast, going to last for the longest, okay? And then it goes all the way up to 5. So you can see on the top line here is what it would look like when you first color it, and on the bottom line is what it would look like 100 years later or a long time after. So down here you can see how much that pencil right here changed in color strength. Now again, if you were a professional artist and you were creating a piece of art and you don't want your colors to fade, this information is very important. Okay, I'm going to slide this back in here. Now, also, I wanted to read to you the little sales pitch they do over on Dick Blick because I thought it was very interesting and, you know, legitimately quite funny the way they wrote it. They're really trying to sell you guys the Luminance pencils, so enjoy this fun footage. These pencils combine the smoothness of a permanent lead with excellent light fastness. Every shade has been formulated using finely ground pigments chosen for their purity, intensity, and resistance to UV rays. Strong coverage and mixing capacity allow for intense applications, blending, and burnishing, while extreme softness enables subtle blending and gradations. Cases are made of environmentally friendly California cedar. The packaging Swatching for the Luminance color pencil sets feature an anthracite gray box with bold, colorful graphics that faithfully reflect the characteristics, materials, and know-how of the Geneva workshops. Black foam trays perfectly protect every Luminance pencil. Now, all joking aside, they are very beautiful pencils, and I find them really easy to read. Some of the writing is really small, but we're going to talk about why it's so small here in a minute. And I am so grateful that the box was well made, because we did have some shipping issues. And what I didn't notice the first time when we unboxed is right here. Let me switch that out. See the corner right here? It got mashed up. And over here, see, it's all mashed up. So if it hadn't been built as strongly as it was, I think the pencils would have definitely been ruined by how I'm seeing this little crunch right here on the corner. So thank you, Luminance, or Caran Dash, for making a very sturdy box. It definitely lived up to its hype. The next thing I want to talk about is the discrepancies that we discovered as we were swatching and working with these pencils. And this took a lot of research to find out what was right and what was wrong with all of this.
And we still don't know.
We still don't know, and we might send a message to them to find out, but this is my little handwritten list of all the things we found that were discrepancies, not necessarily wrong or right, just not consistent between their charts and the pencils. So for instance, on the pencil, number 093 is called violet gray, but on the chart it's called gray purple, and gray was spelt with an A, which I thought was really odd because all the other grays were spelt with an E. So that was odd.
And when you say chart, you're talking about that comes with the pencils, right? Their official printed
Yeah. So we looked
chart.
at their online chart, which looks like this. Sorry, it's sideways. And then that official chart right here that came with their set. So yeah, I looked in several places. We even double-checked on their website. We double-checked on Dick Blick, and sometimes on Amazon to see what was, who is saying what and why is there a discrepancy here. So again, here is a different name. On the pencil, it says natural russet. On the chart, it says raw russet, violet brown, purple brown. So there were some discrepancies here. And then we found a spelling error on the pencil. Oxide was spelt with an I. On the chart, it was spelt with a Y. So then the pencils, they're these three, 741, 745, and 748, are all different dark flesh pencils. And I think what they're doing is transitioning to a new name called Warm Earth. But all my pencils are all called dark flesh, and on the chart, they're all called Warm Earth. And I think we decided to err on the side of what the pencils say when we did our swatch charts.
Right, and then I'll go ahead and put these discrepancies on the download page.
Oh, good. So they can understand.
Yeah, because at some point it makes me wonder if
they're going to transition.
Yeah, and they may have already started, and we just happen to get an older stock.
Right, with the
pencils.
dark flesh name.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. This one right here, let's see. Oh, this was a funny one. On this little chart here, they have little indicators of what colors are in which sets. So if you're not going to buy the full set, maybe you just want to buy the portrait set or just the 40 set, it tells you which colors are in which sets. And they don't have one of their pencils. They only have 19 little dots for their portrait set, and there should have been 20 little dots. So poor little quinacridone purple got left off of their little dot chart. One more little discrepancy. My pencil has ultramarine pink spelt wrong. No E at the end of ultramarine. We looked it up on their chart and their website and Dick Blick, and everybody's spelling it with the E on the end. So yeah, they're not huge discrepancies, but they were enough to bug me, and I had to find out what was right and what was wrong, so that we could make the swatch chart we made for you as accurate as possible. So we did our best.
Well, and I have to admit, I'm pretty disappointed in Caran Dash. Like, for a professional company company to make so many mistakes.
Yeah.
This is the most mistakes we've seen in any pencil brand.
Yeah.
And you pay the most for these pencils, you know?
And they are, they've been around a long time. So I would have thought that they would have caught all these little mistakes by now.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was weird. Okay, and then here again, if you want to buy the Caran d'Ache blender set, it will work with any kind of wax or oil-based pencil that you have. They're about $5 right now on Blick, and you get both pencils. And they have a really good description on Blick of how to use those pencils, so totally go check that out. Okay, so now let's look at the colors. We've talked about discrepancies, we've talked about how the pencils are built and made and cost and all that stuff, but let's look at the beautiful colors next, shall we? So the first time I swatched these, I used the order that was in the box, and that's what this is right here. I'm going to roll some swatching footage. So as I was swatching the Luminance pencils for the very first time, I was very excited about the colors, but a little thrown off by these names. There are some names here that I have never heard before and I still don't know how to pronounce, and they are a pain to write. So I am really glad that Steve has made that full chart for you so you don't have to write every single one of these names. It was really hard. Now in my big box here that I got, there is a total of 104 coloring tools in the box. That includes 2 white pencils, 2 black pencils, and the 2 blender pencils. So you get all 100 colors plus extras in this box. Okay, so let's look at these colors and how pretty they are. I got to tell you, as I was working with them the first time, they were giving me real Derwent drawing pencils vibes. Like they sort of feel more similar to that line, and the color palette is very similar. The Derwent drawing pencils is really aimed towards portraitures and landscape type coloring, and there is a lot of that going on in here. Lots of colors for portraits and for landscapes, although they really are lacking in the green, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. And I was really unhappy with the order they were in the box. There's yellows in odd places, and like there's a purple down here that I think should be up with the purples, and the grays were just all over the place, so they needed reorganizing. But before I wanted to reorganize them, I wanted to see them on black paper to see if they are as strong and vibrant as the white. So let's take a look at the black swatching. Seeing the Luminance on black paper was so exciting. The colors are vibrant and pop and are so beautiful. I am really looking forward to coloring on a black coloring page. So here they are. I'll put them side by side. Let me get my face off of here. Let's look at them side by side, what they look like on black versus on white. And yeah, they are just gorgeous. Some of these blues are just delicious on black. This really excites me, you guys. And here are more of their sort of gray tones here on the black again.
Yeah,
just beautiful.
Yeah.
So now I wanted to see them on the tan paper, because I also color, and we provide coloring books here at Coloring Bliss printed on beautiful tan paper. So let's look at that swatching. Seeing them on the tan paper, this is when I really started connecting this set with the Derwent drawing pencils. They feel very similar here on the tan paper, and oh, they are just beautiful. And working on tan paper is such a delight and so much fun. If you would like to learn how to color on paper that is not just white, we have some really fun workshops here at Coloring Bliss to teach you all about how to use papers like this. So here they are on tan paper. So pretty, so vivid. I love working on tan paper. It does so much of the work for you. And then the colors just look so, I don't know, dreamy and delicious on the tan paper. Yeah, I get a little excited about this stuff. So that's all the swatching I did. But there was one more thing I wanted to see before we put them in a different order. And that was, what are these 24 new pencils that they have released? What were they trying to do with these new 24? Let's check that out. This is the 24. Now, I believe it was July, maybe June of 2020 when these were released. And you can see I really struggled with swatching these because I was trying to figure out those discrepancies. This is where they really came out, were the discrepancies. Now, there are 4 pencils that are only available either in the bigger sets or open stock. And then they have a full 20 set of these colors right here that they're calling their portrait set. So that's what you're looking at here. The top 4 are not in the portrait set, and these 20 are in the portrait set. So if you're trying to collect, maybe you already own the 76, you could buy the 20 right here and then 4 more open stock, and then you'll be full set syndrome satisfied.
Like, why those colors? That's what they're calling a portrait set?
This is their portrait set.
Like, why did they remove, look at the top, the 4 that you can only get, 3 of those 4 should be in the portrait set.
Yeah, it's confusing. And I do think they were trying to fill out, like they provided some really dark blues, blue violets. I think that's really good. And another, like, a wider range of these more browns and skin tone type colors, so you can get some nice cheeks and but
do
why
they
aren't
do
these
like that bright orange and bright blue? Like, I understand bright blue for maybe eyes.
for eyes? Blue is also used in undertones for skin, so it makes sense. But this orange, I mean, really, any color can be used in a skin tone, you guys. You can throw in purples and pinks and reds, and almost any color can be used in a skin tone. But Steve's right. This is a little odd because I don't know of any skin that would be just that color. But we're talking about professionals that use sometimes really odd colors to really enhance a shadow or enhance a highlight. So maybe that's why that color is there.
I mean, that's true. Sometimes when you see fine artists doing a portrait, you're like, oh my word, I never would have thought to use that color.
Never would have thought.
And yet it looks amazing.
Yep. So I think that's what they were going for, but I think they should have just made this a 24 set and you get all these colors all in that one 24 set. I think that would have been much more logical. Okay, but once we did all of this research and I figured all this out, it was time to put them into our order, which always takes hours and hours of work. And let me explain that process real quick. So this is Creamy. This is our eldest son's little cat, and he is a sweetheart. He's younger, and he's very frisky, I would say. He also sports a very handsome half mustache. We call it the half stash. And it's so handsome that Steve had to try recreating it because, yeah, you gotta have a half stash. Okay, to put them in our order, what I prefer is to have all the pencils in artist color wheel order. So we usually start with the yellows, and then we move to the yellow oranges, so we go yellow to the warmer colors, move into the cool colors, and end up at yellow green. And then at the very end of the list is where we usually put the neutral colors. So we went through all of the colors and grouped them into different sections. What I thought, this was me doing it, what I thought was yellow, what I thought was green, yellow, green, all of those. And then Steve goes through here and he looks at it and says, no, this actually is a red orange, it should be moved over there. That kind of quick organizing. Now once that is done, that's all of this. Once that is done, we start trying to get them into order. So we start again with yellow and we move into the warmer colors and then back into the cool. So this was Steve's first attempt to get them into some kind of color wheel order. And then we swatch them all out to see what they look like in that first order and start making changes. It was about here that we really started to discover that Luminance has 9 Luminance trios. That's what we're going to call them. They have 9 groups of pencils that they sort of have a light, medium, and dark. Well, not sort of. That's what they have, is a light, medium, and dark. Payne's Gray, French Gray, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Ochre, Sepia, Olive Brown, Brown Ochre, Flesh or Warm Earth, and Raw Umber. These are the 9 Luminance trios. So we wanted to make sure they were together and in the right place according to the color wheel. So here you can see see me starting to mark out where those trios were and how they kind of interacted with the colors around them. And I think we're going to get upstaged. All right, I think he's done hanging out with us.
Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy.
Thanks for visiting. Goodbye. Okay, so after we did this chart, we rearranged them all again and swatched them one more time. Here's our testing out to see if we like the new arrangement. And here we are swatching the Luminance one more time. And this is where we got it into a good order that we were happy with. I think we might have made one or two changes here, but for the most part, this was the final set. And then I sit down and I read them all to Steve, and this brings up the issue of the color names. Oh my goodness. These, I think, were some of the hardest color names we've ever dealt with. Let me show you a few. This one is Anthraquinoid Pink. That's one of them. Let me bring up the other charts. I'm so glad Steve has this all printed out. Anthraquinoid Carmine. Let's see, this one. Quinacridone Purple. Blue Nimes. That's, I think, French. Let's see where... Oh, this one. Look at that. It starts with a PH and a TH. So how are you supposed to say that?
Right?
Phthalocyanine Blue, Chrysocolla Blue. I knew that word. Let's see if there were any others. Middle Verdigris. I think that means green-gray, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Dark Phthalocyanine Green. Yeah. So this was quite the thing. I had to spell all the names out 2 or 3 times to make sure we got it right for you. But it's all here.
And on the chart, I just gave up trying to get it to fit the width. Like on the first page.
Oh, yeah, like it's sticking out.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
because
whatever.
It's really long names. So thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
For going through all of that.
You're welcome, not making you guys have to write all those out.
Yeah, and some of them end with an MIT. Yeah, it's a very interesting name system. So the numbers are where it's at with this. Obviously the names are helpful too, but the numbers are much simpler and they're easier to read on the pencil. These really long ones, the print was so small I had to get out a magnifying glass to make sure I was reading it correctly.
And when all else fails, go by the number anyway because of those naming discrepancies.
Yeah.
The names are the discrepancy, not the number.
Not the numbers. The numbers stay consistent, so that's really good. Okay, and then once we got this, it was time for me to swatch the final 100 to see what they look like in their big harmonious beautifulness. So we'll check out this footage. So Steve has created 2 forms of a free swatch chart for you to come and download. This one that you're seeing me fill in right now is all 100 colors, all on one page. It's such a great quick reference chart if you collect the Caran Luminance pencils. Now this page only has the numbers on each swatch. So if you want a swatch chart that has both the name and the number, then you want to download and print and color on the 3-page download, which we were showing previous, that has all the color names and numbers. So here is all 100 in color order, and if you look, it starts yellow, and then it moves to yellow-orange, and then it starts into the oranges, and the red oranges, and the reds, and goes all the way down. All the trios, those 9 Luminance trios, are all together so you can see and compare them. And then we have the warm grays right here, and then it moves into the cool grays with black and white at the very end. I hope you love this chart as much as I love this chart. It's so great to see it organized and everything concise and beautiful, and you don't have to write a single thing under these swatches. You just get to color. It's so awesome. Now the next step that we usually do after this is we take these colors and we put them into the Coloring Bliss tritones, where we have a light and medium, dark, a light, medium, and dark for every color on the color wheel. Now I want you to comment below, are you interested in us putting that time and effort in to try to create the tritones? We are a little nervous that there won't be a good light and medium and a dark for every color on the color wheel. For instance, green. Green is really lacking, just straight up green. I'm not talking yellow green or blue green. Green, it was really lacking in this set. So there are several places that we can see holes. So another question I have for you is another option to the tritones, and maybe we would call it the duotones. There are a lot of really great color pencil sets out there that are smaller and harder to create tritones, but I think we could successfully create duotones. So maybe instead of a light, medium, and dark, you would get a medium and a dark, or a light and a medium color for every color on the color wheel. And then we could build color schemes off of that. Instead of tritones, it would be duotones. If that's something that is interesting to you and you think would be helpful, comment below, because we could totally do a lot of different lines of pencils if we shifted some of them over to duotones. We have tritone workbooks for the Pablos. We have them for Prismacolor, Polychromos, all kinds of pencils. So if you are collecting a set of pencils and you would like help organizing them and getting them into good light, medium, and darks and creating color schemes, we have books for a lot of lines of pencils. So come and check that out here at Coloring Bliss. So we have a lot of fun content planned for you with these Luminance pencils. You can look forward to some real-time color alongs, maybe some head-to-head battles between the Luminance and some of these other really great lines. So make sure you have subscribed, you hit that like and the notification button so that you don't miss out on future Luminance videos. And don't forget, we are giving away one set, brand new, never been opened, to one of you, and we're probably going to add some other things to this giveaway, so make sure you watch future videos to find out what we do with this giveaway. It's about a $300 value, you guys. I can't wait for one of you to win it. Remember, the giveaway ends April 27th and the winner will be announced April 28th, 2022 via email. So good luck, everyone. If you're watching this video after this giveaway is over, just make sure you subscribe, and if you come over to our website and become at least a free member, you'll receive emails that will announce giveaways like this so you never miss out again. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about Caran d'Ache and the Luminance line, and I hope you have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye everyone.